No shit is one reaction I have to this. Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and according to this article on IGN.com, Lord of the Rings needs to work for a giant global audience, says Amazon Studios chief. Like I said, no shit is one reaction I have, but I'm going to go into this entire article and then give my 2 cents at the end for this whole situation. So without further ado, let's dive into this, shall we? The stakes are high for the Amazon Studios' upcoming Lord of the Rings series. With a reported first season budget of $465 million, it will be one of the most expensive shows ever made. How do justify? Editors, what the fuck do they pay you for? How do you justify such an expensive endeavor? Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Amazon Studios chief Jennifer Salk said it was mostly due to the madness of the market, noting that Netflix paid $469, I'm assuming millions, but again, editors, for 2 sequels to Knives Out. But she also revealed Amazon's lofty expectations for the forthcoming prequel. As for how many people need to watch Lord of the Rings, a lot. Laughs. A giant global audience needs to show up to it as appointment television, and we are pretty confident that that will happen, Salk said. More power to you, Salk. Again, I'll have my thoughts at the end of this article. Naturally, every show wants to garner a large audience, but Amazon is setting a high bar for The Lord of the Rings. In today's world of fragmented entertainment, that's one way of putting it, few shows can be called event television. Like its competitors, Amazon appears eager to fill the void created by the Game of Thrones, which I have thoughts about that, which capped off its run with a finale watched by 19.3 million viewers, and hated by just about every one of them. It will face competition from Disney's run of very successful MCU and Star Wars shows, okay, as well as a planned Game of Thrones prequel. Why? As for where all that money is actually going, Salk says that most of it is about building up the infrastructure for the rest of the show. This is a full season of a huge world-building show. The number is a sexy headline or a crazy headline that's fun to click on, but that is really building the infrastructure of what will sustain the whole series. But it is a crazy world, and various people on this Zoom, mostly Bella and me, have been in bidding situations where it starts to go incredibly high. There's a lot of wooing, and we have to make decisions on where we want to stretch and where we want to draw the line, Salk said. Anyone who has watched the making of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy will know how much work that entails. There are the sets, the props, and everything. Props, plural. And everything else that goes into bringing Middle-earth to life. It will once again take place in New Zealand, which served as the backdrop for Peter Jackson's trilogy. Alright. I mean, I knew that, so not much to say there. Earlier this year, Amazon released the show's plot synopsis, which promises to take viewers from the, quote, darkest depths of the misty mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon. It is set during Middle-earth's second age and will take viewers back to an era in which, quote, great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. And we all know who that is. Production is currently underway, and you can find out which familiar characters may be showing up, which actors have joined the show, and our explainer of the second age. So, that is the entirety of the article, and I will give my 2 cents right now. Okay, on the surface, yes, I can see her point. Her point is you have to reach a large audience, a large global audience, because you've plunked down $465 million for this endeavor. So I get that. On the surface, it's about reaching the audience numbers, the audience engagement, to get a return on investment, a profit, and so forth. I get that. I get that from a business perspective. However, and again, just my 2 cents in my opinion, it's still an inane comment to make, because this demonstrates once again how Amazon really has no understanding of the works they bought the rights to. Because The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and so forth already has a global market. The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit alone have been translated to 38, 39 languages. Pretty fucking global if you think about it. Pretty fucking diverse. already has been translated to that number of languages. Combine that with the fact that The Hobbit has been around since 1937 and is still popular, and Lord of the Rings has been around since 1954 and in 1955, because it was published over about a year time frame. 3 books, 6 parts, still popular today. And combine all that with all the other works, not including just the Silmarillion, which I do have, but also other works of Tolkien, such as The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun. Sorry, mispronounced that. Accidentally. Again, Silmarillion. The Children of Hurin. This one right here that most people most likely don't know, the story of Culvero. And Beren and Luthien. And anyone who has watched The Lord of the Rings, particularly The Fellowship of the Ring, the scene where Aragorn is singing rather melancholily a poem of sorts, and he describes to Frodo how it's about an elf maiden and a human male falling in love, and what happens with the elf maiden is this tale, Beren and Luthien, which Aragorn and Arwen's romance mirrors in a sense. So there it is. There it is. It already has a large fan base, a large global fan base. So on one hand, yes, you do need to reach those large numbers, but on the other hand, you already have those large numbers. And the fact that I feel so apprehensive about this show, how it looks to me like they're trying to garner the popularity, or at least the initial popularity of Game of Thrones, which does not fit at all with the Lord of the Rings universe, Middle-earth, does not fit at all. Combine that with the key players who have left the series, one of which did not like the direction the show was going because they monkeyed around with what he established. Combine that with the pats on the back of virtue signaling for diversity and representation points. Even though Middle-earth is already diverse in languages and cultures and so forth, but they always look on the skin-deep surfaces. So, as apprehensive as I am, I'm still going to give the first episode or 2 a chance depending on what happens. But again, I'm not liking what I'm reading, I'm not liking what I'm hearing, I'm not liking really much of anything that's been going on with this show since all the news started pouring out. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Are you planning on watching the show? Are you not planning on watching the show? It is what it is at this point. It is what it is at this point. You do need to reach that large audience, especially since you plunked down almost $500 million. But at the same time, you already had that audience. You already had that audience. Why do you feel the need that you have to reach it? I don't know. But like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you enjoyed this video. This is Mara Jade catching you on the dark side, and one ring to rule them all, except in Amazon's case.